It's
Right.
my personal experience.
Right.
If you want to fail, have things fail, just do it in a central approach and don't involve
Force
anybody.
it down, it won't work.
Force it won't work. So great involvement
Yeah.
of the HRD is a key aspect.
Well, Iris, thank you for being here. I'm excited to talk to you today about employee experience.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to talk to you about that.
Yeah, so tell me, in this work that you've been doing, how have you ensured that employee experience is really aligned to the strategy and connected to where the organization is going?
Yeah, in 2021, we revised and further developed our strategy. And it turned out that employee experience is one of our 4 key pillars of our strategy. And honestly, this was a great starting point. Furthermore, we really worked on our core values. So we refreshed our values and aligned them internationally, which wasn't the case before. So we could link culture aspects to the strategy and bring together employee experience.
So the fact that it was one of 4 pillars tells me you had leadership support. They put importance on it from the very beginning.
Yes, we had, in fact, our CEO, Carsten Wöldberger, joined in 2021 too. So same year I joined the company.
Yeah.
And he really fostered the strategic process. So it was no HR process. It was a common process within the whole ExCo.
Right.
And it was very important to have this alignment and commitment
great.
there. Yes.
That's fabulous. How have you defined employee experience, and how are then you measuring the progress you're making against it?
Yeah. After we defined employee experience as strategic pillar,
Yeah.
we really worked on the definition to get clarity on that and started communicating. What we found out, it's really important to find appealing examples and good stories to bring it not only to the mind but also to the heart of the employees. We were a bit technical at the beginning, but key success factor is really to change that and to work on that differently. In terms of measuring, I mean, of course, we are working with performance KPIs and HR KPIs along the way with the manager, but it was important for us to have one additional indicator which gives us insight about employee engagement. Thus, we decided to implement an employee survey, the so-called Net Promoter People survey, which we conduct twice per year.
Okay.
So looking at the NPP survey, the metric is the same as the NPS survey, which is
so it
very
mirrors
widely,
that, so to speak.
Exactly. As we use it intensively in the business, the NPS survey, so we use the same metrics. Core question is whether employee would recommend us as employer, but we have 12 questions which follows, and these 12 questions are in the areas of leadership, development, communication, cooperation. So we listen very carefully to our employees there and follow up intensively on that.
Got it. And you were telling me earlier you were seeing very positive trends given the work and the effort you've been put in here.
Yes. Due to the fact that we really look in depth into the results, doing measurement workshops, derivate actions after each and every survey, we see that the employees perceive that we listen to them and that we work in our agenda and on the employee experience to really bring that forward. And we see positive trends. So when we started, we had an overall NPP score of 0 on a group level. I mean, the scale is -100 to +100. So
Right.
0 was no, it was, it was a starting point. But since then, we really improved to an NPP score of 35. Within 3 years, I think this really shows that we have follow-up, listen, and bring things forward.
Right. Have you seen a correlation in the customer score as well?
Yes, we look at that.
Yes.
So today, I'm now able to announce it. We see that our NPS score went up to 58, which is it's good, and it's an improvement, although it's not as extreme as it was now in the NPP, but we started with the NPP 3 years ago. But yes, there is a correlation.
Well, that's great, because it validates what we know. When we treat
Yes.
our employees well, our employees treat our customers well, right? There's definitely that connection.
That's the
Love
idea.
that. So tell me about some of the initiatives that you've done that have really driven this.
Yeah, we work on initiatives along the employee life cycle. So we worked on each and every step of that, but I'll give you maybe 2 examples.
Okay.
So one in the area of attrition.
Yeah.
So we worked on an employer branding campaign, really looking at personas. So the new personas we are targeting on in terms of our strategy. So we defined requirements and what we offer, and we used our own employees telling their own story
nice.
to roll it out. And the Let's Go employer branding campaign was rolled out in 2022. So this is, for example, one example, I guess.
Yep.
A second one is development. Everything starts with performance management, something which we discussed upside down during the last 1.5 days and got amazing insight there. So far in the past, we were very much concentrating on KPIs and the what part. And as we really revised and refreshed our values and integrated leadership values like clarity and trust being role model, it was very important to us to also link the values in the performance dialogue. So the how part is now linked to the desired behavior, and it was important to us to integrate that in the feedback process. So we did that. In terms of training and development, we have a hybrid approach. So face-to-face trainings. There was a big trend going only into e-learning stuff during COVID, but we went back to hybrid, so face-to-face as well as e-learning.
Just certain times you need to come together, aren't you?
Yes. Yeah. And it's so amazing. So last year we did face-to-face workshops, discussing with the employees about how to customer centricity and customer service and solution focus. At the same time, we launched 100 e-learnings in cooperation with an external partner called Good Habits, also internationally. So going forward, and this is something I'm really proud of, we are going to use this workshop format to also discuss how we can bring to life our values, our company principles, along the customer agenda. So this is what we are going to roll out now.
Oh, great. That sounds great. And the employees telling their own story, that sounds like such an important part of your communication campaign, because you said it was a lot about communicating.
Yes.
Are there other mechanisms you've used in the communications that have had real impact?
Which is very important top down. So starting from CEO calls, where everybody can dial in. And we offered to lower the barrier to give feedback, we offered to give anonymous questions. You know that people are then even more critical and dare to ask more. So it's a format which our CEO does on a regular basis. We have CFO calls talking about business. We have HR calls talking about people agenda and initiatives. And going really cascading down, but opening up to everybody. So several formats. We are really focused on that because communication is key.
Sounds like some real leadership courage in there too, being able to take those questions and address them.
Yes, employee experience is all about commitment and involvement of the leaders.
Yes.
And on the executive board team, as well as on the country boards, we have a big commitment there, and we see this also based on the results. What we are going to do is also involve more of the, let's say, next line leaders to bring up this cultural commitment and to foster this even more in the upcoming months.
So how do you do that with 50,000 people distributed widely? I mean, how do you drive the consistency and the connection for everyone?
We have a very great international HR community working together closely on international projects, so developing them and ensure a joint rollout. On top of that, of course, there are local requirements and agendas which are driven by the local HRDs. but we use best practices out of these approaches and scale them up again and roll them out internationally. So everybody contributes really to the people agenda, and especially the use of the best practices proves to be successful as we leverage the power of the group.
So you have kind of a catch and release process where bring good ideas in, pop them out bigger.
And there is no, let's say, headquarter developing things and spreading
top down, pushing.
It doesn't work out. It's my personal experience. If you want to fail, have things fail, just do it in a central approach and don't involve
Force
anybody.
it down, it won't work.
It won't work. So big involvement. Listening to the business, of course, but also very great involvement of the HRD is a key aspect.
So what would you leave the listener with? Like if they're getting ready to start something like this, to truly focus on employee experience as a key pillar of the strategy, what advice would you give them as they're getting going?
What we see is that we have a lot of on our agenda. To focus is one of the key parts. And I think listening to also colleagues at the summit, it's a topic which drives a lot of our colleagues too. But then it's really driving the cultural implementation. So bringing the values to life, because I'm a strong believer that culture is going to be the driver of the transformation process. And this is what we are going to even more focus on.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much, Iris. I love your stories. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.